The Prime Minister of Japan, meantime, has reshuffled his cabinet less than 4 months before national elections which the polls say right now he's going to lose potentially big time. Fernster in Tokyo, what is the reaction to the changes in the cabinet? I'll bet, are people sort of like, bah humbug, been there, done that already?
It is pretty much a chorus of indifference. The newspaper headline's not very flattering. We've got the Yomiuri describing it as a minor adjustment. We've got the Japan Times saying that opposition from heavyweights in the LDP mean the Prime Minister could only fill 2 posts. Yoshimasa Hayashi becomes Economy Minister, taking that role from Finance Minister Kaoru Yosano. And Moto Hayashi, who is no relation, is going to chair Public Safety. That was a post that has been covered by the Internal Affairs Minister himself, new in the job. Now, neither of the new guys gave an enthusiastic response to the news.
I haven't had time to clear my mind.
I have mixed feelings.
Now, the Nikkei newspaper calls this an abortive party shake-up, saying it leaves Taro Aso increasingly isolated. A bigger change would have stamped his authority on the cabinet and also the party.
I don't think anyone has ever heard me say I will reshuffle our party's management.
Aso's approval rating has collapsed after the economy slid into its worst post-war recession. There's also been a series of political scandals. Last month, Kunio Hatayama resigned as Interior Minister, saying that somebody involved in the privatisation of Japan Post shouldn't be allowed to buy the holiday resorts that it's been selling off. And the head of Japan Post, who sanctioned that sale, shouldn't be reappointed to the job. Also, Shoichi Nakagawa resigning as Finance Minister back in February after giving a slurred speech at a G7 meeting in Italy. He said he was on cold medicine, others said he was on the booze. That is why Kaoru Yosano took over the dual roles of economy and finance. Now, the new economy minister is 48. He's a former defence minister, briefly, the son of a former finance minister. He is fluent in English. He studied at Harvard's John F. Kennedy School of Government. Now, both Hayashis have been in the cabinet before. Yasuo Fukuda appointed them in a reshuffle last year, and a month later, he was out of a job. And so were they. So with Aso still struggling to shore up support, history may repeat itself. Bernie.
Interesting stuff. So Yosano's reign at the Economics Ministry, rather brief indeed. Mike, stick around. Let's put this stuff to Kirby here, who knows a thing or two about Japan, having spent a big chunk of his career there. They're changing economy ministers so often there, you kind of wonder if anybody has time to make their mark at all, or whether it's just a continuous charade of musical chairs over there.
Well, I'll tell you, for as negative as I always am on Japan, and again, I love the country, this is a bright spot. You know, I have known a little bit about this guy for a couple of years through a friend of mine who actually knows his family. And what he does impresses me more than a lot of others there. So if this is the start of a turn of the younger generation, the more reform-minded politicians starting to take over some power, then it is a tiny ray of hope. But they're so far from the types of political overhaul that they need to address the myriad problems that facing Japan, that are just really unconquerable at this point.
Let's hear from Mike.
Yeah, Kirby, he's an impressive guy. You know, he's young. He's been to Harvard, fluent English. You know, comes from another political dynasty. But is he going to be long enough in the job to actually achieve anything? I mean, Taro Aso's looking fairly shaky. I mean, if he gets replaced, then the cabinet goes as well.
Yeah, no, it's rather meaningless at this point. However, it's just the fact that it is someone, you know, of his generation and his stature. You know, I would say maybe possibly despite having gone to Harvard. Just kidding, of course. Stop the emails, just joking. That he's the right guy. That maybe we'll see more of these appointments, whether from the DPJ, hopefully, if they do win the election, in administrations and cabinets going forward. Rather than the old guard who are stopping any types of discussions on the true types of reforms necessary to truly get Japan's fiscal house and economy back in order.
There are 80 LDP members who want to vote to get rid of Taro Aso. Do you think that they're going to succeed, and do you think we're going to see another prime minister before the elections?
That's really a difficult question to answer, because it doesn't really, in my view, make much sense. I don't think that there's enough time for them to recoup any type of public support with a new prime minister in such a short time. It will be seen as a charade to simply try to bolster voting turnout rather than a true political move. However, some of the childish actions we've seen there in the past would lead me to believe that it's a possibility. Who they would decide at this point can turn around popularity in time for the election, though, I couldn't tell you who that would be at this point.